Welcome to Todos en Todo, a new episode of our podcast, a video podcast, where we share the stories about those in our community that have created this place a very special place to be. Today, we are honored to sit down with Paula Colombo, the former owner of Café Santa Fe, an iconic restaurant, a legend, in the heart of Todos Santos town. For decades, Café Santa Fe was known for his authentic Italian cuisine, its welcome atmosphere, and its artistic spirit of Paula Colombo, chef and sculptor who passed away in 2018. And the restaurant has been closed doors in 2019, but its legacy is still alive in the hearts of many. Join us today as we hear from Paula, his wife, the story behind this local legend, the love, the art, and the community that shaped it, and a reflection on how Todos Santos dining scene has evolved since then. Thank you very much, Paola, for joining us.
My pleasure.
To start, can you please share with us where you're from, a little bit of your background?
Mm-hmm. I was born in New York City in 1947,
okay.
In Harlem. And I went to school there. My parents my father was Jamaican, my mother was from Virginia, and I had a wonderful upbringing. Can you imagine growing up in New York City in the 50s with the art and entertainment and the freedom and the multicultural place? For many years, I always had a love for Mexico through the history, through just loving the food and experiencing the people. I came to Mexico originally in the 70s. I was working on a film with my brother-in-law called in Chiapas, actually. And
Chiapas, Mexico.
In Chiapas, Mexico. And then, as you know, it's very close to Oaxaca.
Right.
And then I had friends that built a house near Puerto Vallarta. So in the 70s, I got to explore Mexico and just...
At his prime time.
And it was such an amazing place, and the people, the food, the vibe, everything. I was invited many times to do some work for people that were building houses in Yelapa, a place which is outside of Vallarta, which you had to get to the ferry, where is known for the Indians and the pigs that roam the area.
Oh, wow.
So in the 70s, friends of mine bought a place, or leased at that time, because they couldn't own, and spent some time in that area. And my love for the place just grew, for this country. And I went back to the States. I got married. I had a child. I was working bi-coastal between LA and New York. I was a model, an ingenue model.
By the way, I saw some of your pictures and your house in El Guamuchil. Look, stunning, beautiful.
And that was an interesting chapter. I've had many chapters in my life.
Okay.
And so after that, I was working with a lot of celebrities in Los Angeles, and that got kind of tedious, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I decided I had done financially well, and that I would have an adventure. So I came to Los Cabos in the early 80s, and with an Italian friend, just a friend, and I was introduced to Paula Colombo.
In Cabo San Lucas.
In Cabo San Lucas.
He was living there already.
He was I met him at this restaurant called Da Giorgio's.
The Giorgio restaurant.
Yes, that was on the hill from.
Of course. Yeah, in Cabo Bello.
From the Palmilla. It's now. I don't think it hasn't.
Oh wait a minute. This restaurant is before arriving to San Jose del Cabo. Yeah, in a hill.
On a hill.
That you take out.
And it was the Palmilla was being developed right below. In fact, that was the Rodriguez family who owned that area. And I believe still does.
I was there in that restaurant.
Well, Ezio was a painter and an illustrator in Italy. And he came here on a trip when the road first opened, Highway 1 to Cabo San Lucas. And he was hired by actually the Playboy of Italy. And a friend of his wrote, and Ezio did the illustration.
Uh-huh.
And Ezio, this was in the 70s, and Ezio fell in love with Cabo San Lucas, which was nothing but cows. And he went back and left Italy and one-way ticket to Mexico. And so he was really a pioneer here.
Right.
In fact, he had a pizza place for many years with not many years because it didn't last very long, with another Italian, Renato, who was into racing. Anyway, Ezio was doing paintings for the new hotels with Julian Garcia, who is a well-known local, even though he's from Mexico City. And these were the beginnings of Cabo San Lucas and interesting people. Well, when I came in '83, I met up with Ezio, and everywhere I went, I couldn't believe this man that had sprinkles, these press pants with sprinkles of paint and English loafers. Everybody else was in flip-flops.
In Cabo.
Yeah, in Cabo. So anyway, we got to be friendly, and he told me about this beautiful village, an oasis in the desert, you know, which you couldn't get up here because there wasn't a road had been completed. So he brought me up here through the ranches.
Wow.
And came here, and I walked into this plaza. This was in 1988, and it was abandoned. And there was a little sign in the window of my building for sale. And I said, do you know anything about this building? He said, well, I can find out. At that time, he had moved up here with Julian Garcia. And so all the locals knew him. He was the Italian, you know,
Italian,
he was new,
the only Italian.
The one Italian, you know. So he found out who was representing or knew something about it. And I walked in. It was completely destroyed with 2 pieces of wood on the door. It had been abused because people had used it badly for the festivities in the plaza.
Oh,
so
like a storage.
Exactly. Oh, it was
that
was bathrooms and stuff. And something said to me, buy this building. So I inquired, and I bought it. And this was 1988.
1998. And the building itself is a restoration from 1800s, right?
That's right. It was built by a doctor.
Right.
And the first part of the building, which is quite obvious because of the vigas and the walls are adobe, I restored it. And I love this building. Something told me to buy it, and I know. And every day I know why, because I just love this place.
So just so you know, we are exactly in the place where used to be Café Santa Fe, Todos Santos.
Yes.
You know, right now it's in a beautiful remodelation. It's an amazing job you have done here. Looks beautiful, but it's still the same shape of the restaurant that used to be.
Yes, I kept it in a commercial space. You know, I won't be living forever.
Right.
So when it gets turned over, I wish my daughter would take it. She's actually, her partner is a chef. So I think between her being a yogi and a physical therapist that she could do something here.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And this is the original kitchen.
This is the original kitchen that Ezio built and designed, and everything was done naturally out of gas and wood. There was no electronics, no microwaves. Everything was done in a very classic way of back in the day, you know. And he created some incredible food, and he's really missed in the community. Everybody remembers him and his wonderful food, and he was a real character, Ezio, very talented man.
I was digging a little bit more into, you know, the internet about your place, you know, see what is out there, and I found a couple of things that calls my attention. was a comment in one of the travel leisure magazine that this was a water like with a silver spoon.
Yes, Ezio, we had people from all over the world, quite famous celebrities, people in the food industry, and he was nominated. And when he was approached, he said, "I'm not a chef." And they said, "Well, we don't care because your food is so fantastic, you have to participate." And yes, he won the award 5 years in a row with World Renowned, the Silver Spoon.
Here, little Todos Santos.
And here, little Todos Santos.
Oh my God.
And here, who the man that claims he wasn't a chef, you know.
Some other comments is about you, gaberoni and garlic sauce. That was the amazing dish that you guys have. And this person was asking, can you give me the recipe of the sauce? Somebody else about the sage butter. They used to make a sage butter.
Yes, we made ravioli with sage butter.
Oh, the raviolis were lobster raviolis.
Lobster ravioli was...
Somebody says the Mediterranean salad from the organic garden, it's to die for.
It was. I miss it a lot. I mean, to have a restaurant, it was just a lot of work.
Oh, I'm sure.
But to sit down and have wonderful meals, and I didn't have to go get the food or cook it or clean up. So that was our perk, believe me. But we worked very hard for that. Yeah.
I'm sure. So what was the vision when you and Enzo got together and said, okay, let's convert in a restaurant? What was your vision for it at that time?
The vision was to prepare with wonderful ingredients and don't mess it up. Don't cover up the fish with sauces, to have the fresh food and respect that.
Right.
And I think that was our wealth, and also the consistency. If you came here 5 years, if you dined here and then came back 5 years later, you got that same meal you got 5 years before.
Right.
And that was our wealth as far, and our reputation.
My husband always said that as the success for everything.
Exactly.
You know, if you go and it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So like my mom's soup, I go back to Ohio and the food, the soup, that's exactly when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, and those are wonderful memories. Smells and food and colors always brings back the best.
So when you started working together as a partners and as a partners in life, what are your experiences with Ezio?
Well, there were so many. I mean, he was a very creative person, a very intellectual person. And he was Italian, you know, and he was born
Which part of Italian?
His father was Milanese, he was from Milan, and the mother was from Liguria, La Spezia, the part of the Cinque Terre, which is one of the most beautiful spots in the world. And Ezio grew up in these different bays and water polo. And so that's why I think he was so drawn to this area, because he was a water guy. He was a big diver, and so Cabo San Lucas meant a lot to him. And of course, as it grew, he didn't like it so much, and so he was invited to come here. And he found his spot, and he continued to paint and create and go to the beach.
Right. I can think about how challenging probably it will be at that time to run a restaurant with such a freshness and all the ingredients, and
it's true.
So many things that you have to do by yourself.
Here.
Exactly.
There was nothing here.
Because when I was living in Cabo, we used to go to La Paz to try to get Roman cheese, you know, Parmesan cheese, because it wasn't. So it must be very difficult, very challenging.
It was very challenging. But Ezio was so creative of, you know, knowing how to grow the herbs. When he would travel, he would bring back seeds and things like that. But it was very difficult. There were no purveyors. So that's why when we bought Guamuchi, which you know, this huerta,
yes, it's beautiful.
We grew all the food. Right. And then Ezio was really into explaining to the locals. He was quite respected. He was, you know, an Italian, which I think
Have a sense of
Mexicans have a
humor.
love for
Yes.
Italians. And he encouraged people with large lots. He would give seeds to them, and we would buy it back. In fact, we had hoped when Hotel California was available that it would maybe turn into a culinary school where it create this area because of all the huertas and the water and this wonderful soil.
Right.
That it could become a place where the hotels could get their fresh ingredients. And as you know, Agricole Elizabeth,
Right.
she was one of the first with her Fresh Bounty and with the strawberries and,
Right.
So that's what we had hoped for the place.
That could be. That's a vision.
That was a vision, yeah.
You guys have, and I think that could be great.
Yeah, Alice Waters of Chez Panisse, which is a very famous restaurant in the Bay Area, who is one of the first people in the culinary world that also started farm to table. She actually came here, and we were hoping she would be the person that would buy Hotel California and turn it into a culinary school,
Oh my God.
That would have been
that would be a hit.
That would have been a big hit,
Totally.
But things were very difficult to do here,
Right.
There wasn't any construction companies. We had people that kind of learned by instinct, like the plumbers. We had 3 plumbers. They were brothers.
Okay.
And when we redid this area, which was the big garden, and we grew before I put the building in the back, we kind of redid the flooring of the garden at one time. And we realized the pipes that it should have been directly had elbows in it all over the place.
Well,
it's part of the charm. When Ezio laid this out underneath his brick, he had to actually do the curve because the people
didn't know how to
didn't
do the
know
curve.
how to do it. Lots of funny stories like that. And then we got to know that this is a town of everybody has an alternative name, right?
Right.
And so
Alias.
Yes. And we would find out, like the workers would be in here and they would be like, oh, he's a perico azul. He's the bluebird. What do bluebirds do? They steal. He took my boombox. He took all my toys.
Oh my God.
We were laying out this floor, and one of the guys wanted to clean up a spot with acid. And we said, no, you can't do that. Okay, what's your name? El Toro. That's the bull. You need to get him out of the china shop, Very funny things.
So talking about the local people.
Oh, they're funny.
The humor. And you basically brought local help here.
We trained them.
You trained them.
Ezio was an incredible teacher. Why everything was so consistent was everybody had their part in your plate.
Okay.
There were no sous chefs.
What is a sous chef?
A sous chef is one that accommodates the chef, okay? But we had all the women prepare the garlic, the parsley, all the ingredients that fed into the kitchen.
Okay.
There was one guy that was taught on the grill, one guy to do the pasta, so he knew how to do it al dente.
Everyone has
Everybody
specialized.
was specialized.
Right.
If you went back there and asked them to fry an egg, they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because they only knew what Ezio taught.
Oh.
And the best stories are when we became known and people from Cabo would come up and they would drop their cards and they'd say, come with us. We'll pay you a lot more.
They want to steal.
They wanted to steal. But this was great. So one time they did take a kid that was just putting the sauces together. He said, okay. And we said, okay, you're going to move on. They called us. They said, but he doesn't know how to do anything.
All he knows how to
Because
do
all he has to, he's doing everything, whatever, all the people are prepared for him.
Oh, the pre-preparation.
Exactly. And he kind of put it together in one
just
thing,
to fix it.
but that wasn't his, he didn't do the pasta. He didn't know how to make the raviolis, It was very funny. Lots of funny stories.
So how many people local you employ at that time?
We employed a lot of people because it took 2 people to do one job.
Right.
And so at our highest point, I think we had 15 people.
Plus the people in the huerta.
Plus we had a company, Wabuchi, that were the people that were growing all the food.
Do you remember Ernesto?
Neto?
Ernesto, yeah.
You mean who owns the butcher shop?
He has the Corral butcher shop.
Yes.
Well,
he worked for me for many. He was wonderful. Very smart.
I talked to him. Say, I'm gonna do this interview with Paula for my podcast. I want to tell her story. Can you share something with us? Well, I'm not very good in the camera, but yeah, I was the pizza first, and then I move on to the grill.
Yes.
He was very proud of it. And,
he was really good.
Yeah.
He is very good. He's still a very good.
Yeah, when I want a special code there, I go there because he knows more or less
what
it
is. I'm very proud of him. And Maggie, who ran the kitchen, she was in charge of buying all the stuff. And after she left, a lot of our clients from Cabo asked who could prepare food. And Maggie kind of started a little kitchen out of her house. And she can do the raviolis, and people would come and order things for Christmas from her. And
it's fair to say that you put the seed on everyone to become her own person, her own business.
Yes, there's a couple of people like Neto. He has this wonderful meat shop and is doing very well. It's very nice to see that. Yeah.
So I want to share this story with you because I knew the restaurant was famous, but I didn't know how big famous, how big of the fame you have. I heard from somebody that says that it used to be a plane run,
and
the people come from LA.
Yes,
and
there was
a private plane.
Yes, outside we're going to La Paz. There used to be the Baptiste brothers, and they were big growers of tomatoes, whatever. They had a runway, and people used to fly. Chris Schnell, who of Schnell Real Estate, he used to come in his helicopter. We used to get the people from, the Mexican TV, Televisa, in their big yachts and land their helicopters and prepare food and lots of excitement around.
One of my stories to you, and I think I shared this with you, is that I have a wedding invitation. My husband and I were going to La Paz to pick up our wedding invitations because nothing in Cabo at that time, that was in 1995. And on our way back, we stopped in the restaurant, obviously, as many of the local Cabo people.
Yes.
Used to be a obligated stop. And next to us was a big table, and I cannot want to recognize his face because I was fan, the 90s. And I said, John, I know who he is. And John's like, who? It's John Bon Jovi. He turned around and said, oh yeah, I think he is. I'm going to ask him to sign our wedding invitation. No, don't do that. Don't do that. And I think it's because people like to come here to have
Yes, we
peace.
Never put pictures. I never asked for. But I had come from that background of being around a lot of celebrities too, so I kind of knew how much they enjoyed their privacy.
Do you have photos with them?
No, I didn't. Some, but it's not something that people are. If the plumber comes in here, he's the same as Bon Jovi to me.
That's nice.
That's something that I like about myself. We're all people. We're all the same. But the celebrities that did come in here, I think the atmosphere, which was nice for you to go over pleasantly and not stand there and stare, you know.
No. I didn't ask for photo.
Exactly. and he received you well.
Yeah. I think because he knew they were gonna get married, and probably it's like, okay, whatever, you know, it's a big deal. So I'm gonna do it. Who else came?
Oh God, one of my favorite, David Bowie came up.
David Bowie, wow,
and,
that's a big one.
Spent 5 hours with us, and he was, how do you say, recouping from life and drugs and things like that. And I actually knew his wife at that time, Iman, the beautiful model who I'd known in LA, and people were running around and heard that he was in Cabo, and here he was sitting here.
Wow.
And I could just go on. So many people came through here. And Chevy Chase, which was one of the funniest nights, came and did his slapstick and fell down the stairs and had everybody in stitches. And, and just wonderful. Lots of Mexican tennis players, soccer players, you know. Ezio and I were in Paris one time, and we were waiting for a table, and this person comes out, and they said, "Are you the Colombos from the Santa Fe? Here we are in Paris." And we go, "Yes," and he put a special table out, and he went on and on and on about our food and the place, and such wonderful memories of just happenings, you know. And that keeps me warm, you know, because I'm now approaching 80, which is, you know,
you look great,
goes so fast.
That's Zumba classes are paying off.
I'm very blessed, you know, with health other than structural things, new hip, new
we
knee.
don't have that.
But what keeps me really warm I've had a wonderful life, and people say, "Well, are you going to leave Todos Santos?" I wouldn't know where to go. This has become my home for so many years.
Yeah, don't leave.
And I'll see as long as I can stay. You know, I can handle it. But
so, Paola, I just think that at that time, when your restaurant was in its prime and a big hit, I think this was the defined moment when you brought gourmet to Baja. You know, you brought organic to Baja. That was the moment that defined or opened the door to more restaurants to come and raise the bar a lot.
Yeah, well, I think in the world in general, I mean, when I hear farm to table, I laugh because we had to do it.
Exactly.
There wasn't any other choice.
That's right.
So, you know, food is our nourishment of our soul and makes us happy, and we should be eating the best, you know. Right. The funny thing is when we started this, and Ezio was raised that way. Italy is the place of the food of the world. I mean, Italians, they're talking about what they're going to eat at breakfast, you know,
like
everything's about food.
Yes,
and respectful, and so Ezio was a stickler about educating people. When people first came here, we had arugula, and they didn't know what it was. After 2 or 3 times in the years, they would be asking for more because it was something they realized was fantastic.
Exactly.
In the kitchen, I would walk in there. This is one of my fun, when I first opened, and the girls are in there. You think my Spanish is bad now? It was really bad. And so I see Tang, you know, Tang, that the astronauts took to space, that horrible...
the powder?
Powder, yeah.
Oh my God, Tang.
And I walked in
my mom used to do that when we were kids. Oh, sure.
And I walked in there, and I go... Ezio goes, "What is that?" And I go, "Oh, it's something they produce for the astronauts. You're going to go." And I go, "No, you can't drink that." I said, "What about linguado?" which is a fish. I meant licuado.
Ah,
and the girls
licuado.
started laughing. Then they go,
Licuado?
what? You know, take a fish? And I go, no, licuado. You know,
Licuado.
we have all this fresh fruit, and
Smoothie.
water and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, this is Mexico.
Right.
But everybody was trying to be modern at that time.
claro.
Yes,
Yes,
everybody
of
wanted
course.
canned foods and things
Yeah.
like that. So we showed them the reverse, and they really got it because they
Yeah.
loved eating here as well. They never ate so well, for sure.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, it shows in your health, you know, how good the food, a good food, a
Good
real
food is,
food.
yeah.
And it's
really.
becoming so expensive now.
It's
Paula.
a very
becoming-
expensive. Well,
That
we
is the sad
live
part.
in the most expensive place in Mexico.
Yes.
Baja Sur. The trucks come in full, they go back empty. We have to pay the driver double, the fuel, the ferry, the importation. So
Right.
as special as it is, I can't imagine a large family here trying to do well as far as it's very expensive.
Right.
It's very expensive. However, if you got a little plot of land and get some seeds and learn how to grow, you know, your vegetables and things like that, I think that should be inspired here by the youth. Even if the schools had a garden, you know, a central garden, I think that would be a great idea for here.
Because I remember your restaurant, I mean, wasn't for everybody. I mean, wasn't
We were considered
but
very, very expensive,
it
but
was
you got a lot of
expensive, but-
food.
Exactly. No, but I always think, you know, when the food is such a wonderful experience, it's nice to pay for something like that once in a while, you know. That you
Absolutely.
can treat yourself and nurture your body with such amazing
I have to
flavors.
say, with the incredible, I mean, the price ranges now, I used to put everything on the table, olive oil, Parmesan cheese, which we used to buy wheels that cost like a Volkswagen. But today, it's so expensive. Olive oil, that's all we used, you know. Oil is the beginning of everything. And
Yes.
I don't know if the Santa Fe, I mean, what would we charge? We gave you plates of vegetables.
Right.
You could eat here on one, you know,
For large
order.
portions.
There were large portions, so you could split everything.
Yeah, my husband and I always split.
You always
yes.
split. You split your, you know, your salad,
Yeah.
your main dish. You know, always fresh vegetables on
And
the
the
side.
wines, you brought it from Italy, the
Ezio.
wines?
Well, that was his department.
Yeah,
he
great
has-
wines,
Yeah,
I
he
remember.
knew his wine. I mean, that. In fact, I cannot drink wine unless it's organic because I'm allergic to sulfa.
Okay,
and you
sulfa.
have to do that to transport wine. You know.
I remember I wasn't drinking wine at that time. I learned to know a little bit about dining with wine with my husband. And I remember we came here, he always complimented the wines. They have
Yes,
such
he
a
was
great
very
wines.
smart in doing. That was way before Guadalupe. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it
by
was very
Guadalupe, yeah,
difficult
to find
to find
good
wines.
bottles,
You
yeah.
know, and like I said, there were no purveyors.
That's right.
It was no purveyors when we started. So everybody came. In fact, the Hermanos Valle.
By hermanos.
They are my dearest friends. Hector and Ezio were great friends, and they're both gone. And so Hector would come and talk to Ezio what to bring in and things like. They were a huge help to us, and I think Ezio was a huge help to them. They just did an opening, and I went to see his wife and daughter and his son who runs it now, and I adore them. I hope they survive here.
Yeah.
They're wonderful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can ask you if you think that the Café Santa Fe brought culture to Todos Santos and a new chapter.
Well,
Of
I think we
its
helped
life.
put this place on the map.
Yes.
We never advertised, and we were written up in everything. I mean, Travel and Leisure in '93 did 10 pages on us.
Wow.
We were so grateful that people's response was in such a positive way that they would go back and all over Europe. All the, the magazines came,
Right.
and I have stacks of beautiful memories of people writing about us and talking about this beautiful place,
Right.
which it is,
So after Ezio passing in 2018,
18.
18?
He got sick in he left pretty much in 2015. We were in Italy in 2015, and he got very sick. And so I had to come home by myself and open the restaurant. And for the time that he was doing his treatment, I was back and forth. It was a very heavy time.
Wow.
Going to Italy, coming here, running the restaurant. It was very hard. I think in that time he came back once, but he was very, very sick. And that's where he wanted to be, in Italy, his country.
Right. So after that year, you stay one more year open. What was the defining moment that you decide this is enough?
I was exhausted. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was 71 years old. Age is something, I've been working since I'm 13, really, and I was exhausted. I was very exhausted,
Right.
and to be by myself, it was very difficult for me, and I wanted to go out in a good way. I did not want to think that this restaurant could not exist on the level it had been.
Right.
So the last couple of weeks, families would come in here all week long knowing that I was closing, and they would beg me, why, Paula?
Yeah.
It runs so beautifully. It runs because I'm running. And I knew at a point that I just didn't have the energy to do it. And then I was blessed in the sense where COVID hit.
Oh, really? That was about that time.
That
That's
was
right.
COVID hit,
2019.
and we would have to close up and anyway, and it was just time. And like I
Right.
said, I wanted people to remember the Santa Fe as being the best,
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. I just saw a couple outside of the restaurant, well, you place here, just this morning, and I was talking to her. She lives in Mexico City now, but she's local, Loana, and she said, what are you doing? Well, I'm gonna do this. She said, oh my God, I remember the last time I was here, that was the last day of the restaurant open. So I feel lucky that I was in the last day there.
Really, people came crying and
Oh,
how can you? But I said, I just want to go out with a great memory of this place and of what Ezio and I created, and that's how I wanted to end it.
so how you feel about when people still talking about the restaurant? Well, believe it or not, one time my office was here in the corner, the real estate office, and somebody came and asked me, where is Cafe Santa Fe? I've been going around and around and around, and I said, what are you looking for? She said, well, to eat. And I said, no, it's been closed for a long time. People still talking about it.
Oh,
People
I have the landline, and I still get reservations.
Really?
It's so funny. I came out the door one time, and this guy, he had an accent, and he's telling his friends, I haven't been here for a while, but I'm telling you, this is the best restaurant, blah, blah.
My God.
And I go, and he looks at me, and I go, he goes, no more? And I go, I'm so sorry. It's been closed for a while. Yeah.
Must be a lot of satisfaction, and
It's a great satisfaction to know how well received.
Right.
Because, when we first opened, nobody even knew Todos Santos had a plaza. Everybody would go to the Pino Park.
Oh, that was the plaza.
Yeah, we're in the plaza. You have a plaza? Across from the theater. You have a theater?
Paula, I really thank you for your time.
Oh, it's a
sharing
lovely
stories.
going back and wonderful memories. And
a lot of people told me, I'm doing this, I'm sharing, I'm doing this podcast. People throw me names there. You should interview this person, you should interview that person. And people often tell me, Paula Colombo, you have to interview because someday she's going to leave and we want to know more about how everything started.
Yes,
So is anything else you want to share with her community?
Well, I just love this place and I hope it's loved. You know, it's so special, particularly in this day and age. We are so blessed to be in this little bubble.
Right.
And I just pray we respect the nature and keep it a healthy place, you know.
Well, I have one more question for you. Knowing that so many new and great restaurants in town are coming and open, how you see the growth over the years of this industry here? What is your take and your perspective on the restaurant business here?
Well, along with the growth comes a part where it becomes very commercial. You know, we have a hotel, so you have to have a restaurant to feed your guests if you're lucky enough to have guests. It's a serious thing. Restaurant business is very hard.
It is
very hard. As Ezio and I would say, we put our love on each plate. You know, it's a huge commitment. So I you know, right now a lot of people, well, if you can't be this, then I'll go to culinary school and I'll be this. You know, but I think the great chefs are something. There's such a connection, like Ezio had with food. That's in your
Which,
blood.
by the way, you mentioned at the beginning, he wasn't a chef.
He didn't call himself a chef.
He was an artist.
He was an artist.
Okay.
He was an artist. He was a beautiful artist.
Yeah, I can
and,
see.
And he just loved to eat.
And
And he grew up where the grandfathers threw the women out of the kitchen on the weekend, and that's when the men went in and cooked, you know. And I mean, Ezio, have you ever seen the film that was done on us, the video that was put out?
No, have not.
It was very.
Where I can find it?
It's on. It's really. I will share that with you.
You share it with me.
Yes, I will
so
send
I can
it
share
to
with
you.
the people who want to know
yes,
more.
because there's just before Ezio got. This was done in 2014, and he's cooking a rabbit. He was well known. You know, people had to make reservations for his rabbit. And what he said was so interesting and sweet. He goes, because he would create things like the tiramisu, and he never ate one.
What?
Yes, and he would, by colors, he would cook and put things together. He was really brilliant, and he loved to eat, so. He loved to eat, and people would never invite us because they'd be so intimidated.
Of course.
But you could he liked good rice and beans too, you know?
Yeah, with salsa and tortillas.
We would be invited, and he'd see somebody go into the cookbook, and he goes, oh no.
Keep it simple.
Just keep it simple. That's his philosophy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All the
Appreciate it.
best. Thank
I'm
you.
sure everybody's going to
Appreciate
enjoy your story. And thank you all for joining me again. Subscribe, please, to Todos en Todo, which every story means back to history in Todos Santos, and continue honor those people who believe in our town and still inspiring us. Thank you.
You're welcome.